Hi there YouTubers, welcome back to my channel, Workshop Fun. Today I'd just like to post a video on my completed Victron setup because I have done many videos with my Victron setup but none on the completed setup yet. So if you're new to my channel, this is what I've been doing for the last year, building this Victron system up slowly as well as restoring my whole caravan. And today I thought I'd like to post an update on just the Victron system completed. So I'll start off with down here. The first upgrade I have done is I have 300 amp hour lithium ion batteries wired up in parallel, and that of course gives me 300 amp hours at 12 volts. I have your little Victron battery smart sense, so that tells me what temperature the batteries are at. I custom made this battery box, I guess you'd say, or battery holder. I've used this solid stainless steel right angle and put a good sturdy bottom down underneath the batteries, and also had to raise that above the floor so the wiring to the caravan could actually go underneath it, and then rerouted the main wiring through to here. I used 95mm square cable. I use welding cable because it's the only thing flexible enough, and it can handle all the amp hours that this system would give it. So yeah, that's the battery bank. Now we'll move along to here. This is my first IP43 smart charger. It's my first 240 volt. I have two of them. I have two 50 amp IP43 smart chargers. This one is strictly the 240 volt version, and my other one is the 240 volt 120 volt version, and they both have your free outputs, so not that I'll ever use that, but yeah, that's what I got. And then here's my first MPPT solar charger. That is just a baby, 75 by 15. That's running 460 watt panels each, so the 4 panels are divided into 2 groups, and each group is running in series and then in parallel back down to this. So the next thing is the Cerevo, and if you don't know anything about Victron systems, this is like the brain of the system. It pulls everything together, and I also had to get this hub, so all my MPPT chargers and my battery chargers and the inverter can all hook into this and communicate with this, as well as the smart shunt. So here is my transfer switch. I got a Mohs transfer switch. This is rated at 80 amps, so more than what I'm ever going to give it in the caravan, so 80 amps AC, so that's fantastic. It's the only thing that I could find that would work well with the Victron system, and because I didn't go with the Multi Plus or Quadro, I just went with the Victron Phoenix Smart Charger. I needed a decent transfer switch, so this was it. Everything's got real dusty. Now the reason why I went with this is because it's one of the latest technologically wise transfer switches, and also it works in well with the Victron system because it needs 12 volt DC to run, so that gives it the 12 volt DC gives it the reading for the battery, the voltage, and I have used that as a way to automatically turn it on and off with the Cerebro's automatic start-stop relay. So when the battery system gets down to 70%, the Cerebro, through its start-stop relay, cuts off the transfer switch, and then the AC automatically fires up, and at the same time my two IP43 chargers start up. Each one of the IP43 chargers is hooked up together through their relay. So then when it gets back up to 100%, the transfer switch then starts back up and everything's running off the batteries again, and the battery charges stop because the mains stop. So it works out really well. Okay, I got my Phoenix 3000 volt, 3000 kVA inverter. Oh, sorry, 3000 K. Let's try again. 3 kVA inverter. So yeah, it's a nice big inverter. That's a 3000 VA inverter, and it's the Phoenix smart one, so it's Bluetooth and works off a VE direct cable as well, so that's lovely. And this thing runs beautifully. It just runs all the time, and I never turn it off, and it's just a beautiful smooth inverter. I've never had any trouble with it. Now all my main wiring, my battery cables and my inverter cables, they're 95mm square, and they can handle a continuous running rate of 400 amps. It's welding wire, because I had to use welding wire because it's the only thing flexible enough to get down in here and do the bends that I need it to do. So that's working really well. I built my own bus bar setup, so that's all rated at 600 amps, the bus bars, and I bought this thick copper plate, and I used that to turn around and connect the main breaker for the inverter and the isolating switch for the 12 volt supply. Also back there you can just see my IP63 Victron smart shunt. That's all connected through that same copper plate, which is really thick stuff. I think that was 10mm thick. So yeah, certainly can handle the amps anyway. So that's all done. That was a big job, of course. The original battery box, I chopped it out carefully and just turned it into a hatch, so I was able to keep the lid of the original battery box and just carefully chop out the box, and that worked really well. And now that's where I got my main breaker, just in there for the automatic transfer switch and the Caravan's 240 volt wiring. Now with the automatic transfer switch, all the wiring going to it is 2.5mm square, so butty stuff. 2.5mm square 3-core cable can handle running at 26 amps at 240 volts continuously. So this system here is not even going to push that. I mean, the Caravan's breaker is at 16 amps, so you know it's never going to get anywhere near that. So it's all overkill to keep it nice and safe. And of course the main fuse is 16 amp, so yeah, that's good. So that's my setup down here. I'll try and show you as nicely. Okay, now to cool the chargers, the inverter and everything, I've got a fan here, and that's your inlet fan, and then just over here I got a big outlet fan, and then I put a vent here for the outlet and a vent here for the inlet. And how they're controlled is actually independently of the Victron system through this little thermostat here, and I've set that parameters to my desired levels, so it's working really nicely. Okay, now moving right along to the next part of my Victron system. You got the Touch 50 display. Here we go. So that's all of that. It's working really well. I can do a lot with that. Very intuitive. I like that system. Now, then you move up to here, and I'll turn this light on. You got my other 4 MPPT solar chargers. So once again, everything with this system, I've built it with redundancy in mind. If one thing dies, another thing can at least continue. So each of the big solar panels has its own solar charger. So this 30 amp solar charger, these are all the Bluetooth smart chargers, by the way. Everything in the system is the Bluetooth. So the battery chargers, the AC chargers, and the MPPT solar chargers, they're all Bluetooth, and the inverter. So this solar charger is running my 370 watt panel. This one here is running my 455 watt panel. This one here is running just a little 120 watt panel, and this one here is running my 250 watt panel. So that's a 20 amp, that's a 15 amp, that's a 50 amp, and that there is a 30 amp. And of course I spent hours and hours doing cable management. You can see underneath here I made it all neat and tidy. Now the other thing I've done in here too is, once again, 2 little fans. I haven't got them on at the moment because I'm underneath, you know, this caravan's in a workshop. And once again, one's your inlet, the other one's your outlet. So, you know, works nicely. I don't know if it's warm enough that these will start up. Nope. But I can turn around and get my hand, if I can find the thermostat. There we go. Right, this should start them up. So what have I got it set at? I think it's 30 degrees. Yep. So there you go. They are on. Excuse me, and I don't think they'll go off again until it's down to 28 or something. I'm not sure actually. Can't remember what I said to that. It might have been 26. But anyway, they are working. So yeah. And of course, every charger has its own breaker, automatic breaker fuse, so automatic reset. And also the solar panels all have their own breakers, and the 4 60 watt panels which are connected to this one, of course, it has its own breaker as well. So that's all of that. Now in here, last but not least, that's my other IP43 charger, 50 amp free output. This one here is the 120 240 volt version. So how you can tell is the Bluetooth signal light. The 240 volt version doesn't have the Bluetooth signal light. It does have Bluetooth though, and it says 85 volt to 265 volt. So yeah, that's a pretty cool charger. So that gives me 100 amp hours of charging capability, but I've just restricted both of these to just work at 30 amps each, so 60 amps in total. And that there is my breaker for my 250 watt panel. I couldn't fit it in the cabinet with the other ones, so it just got put there. Anyway, so I'll pause this now and I'll take you up and show you the panels. Okay, so this is the solar panels here on top of my caravan. Sorry about the mess, they're all covered in dust, but hey, it's what you get in a workshop. But anyway, so at the back there you got the 370 watt. Then the next big one is the 455 watt. Then you got the 240 watt, and then you got the 120 watt, and then you got this 60 watt, that one, and the one there, and the one there. So that's your 4 60 watt panels. These two are wired in series, these two are wired in series, and then they go into here in parallel down to that solar charger that you saw in with the inverter and the AC charger, and that's how those 4 run. I've also put little cable ties down, and each one's also glued on rather than just relying on the double-sided tape, and that holds all my wiring nicely in place. So this was all a mission, took me a long time, but it's all completed now, and that gives me a total of 1435 watts and 8 solar panels. So yeah, there we go. I'll just pause this now. Okay, so that's really about all for now. I just wanted to make this video of my complete Victron system and what it runs and how it's doing it all. And I guess, I'm promoting Victron even though I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I've bought this with all my own money. But Victron is a great product. Some of the best products available on the market right now. And I can't foresee that will be changing anytime soon. So anyway, if you have any further questions, feel free to ask. And until then, or not until then, but have a good day. Thank you. Bye.